Hello students, welcome to the online session for the subject of industrial safety. This subject of industrial safety is mainly for the students of civil engineering, particularly structural engineering, and for the student of mechanical engineering. Here we are going to discuss the each and every topic regarding the industrial safety. Whatever the topics that are given in the G2 syllabus of the subject of industrial safety will be discussed in this virtual session. We will be having a brief discussion on each and every topic. We will be discussing the practical application of this subject of industrial safety in our session also. So let's start with our session. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hello students, welcome to the online session for the subject of industrial safety. In the previous session, we have already started the chapter number 3 of our syllabus for the subject of industrial safety. We are moving according to the G2 syllabus. We are in the synchronization with the G2 syllabus. So let's see the outline of the today's session. Basically, we are going to discuss the factors that are associated with the decision tree. All the factors that are associated with the decision tree will be discussed in this session. We are going to discuss the process for the preparation of the decision tree diagram. We are also going to discuss the decisions that are involved in the decision tree. Moving towards the further discussion, the factors that are associated with the decision tree are as follows. Basically, the main factor is, first of all, we need to find all the reasons that are causing the faults. All the genuine reasons that are causing the faults should be listed first. Now, we have already listed all the faults. The next thing that is required is to arrange them in a proper manner. We should arrange each and every faults. We should arrange all the faults as per a certain criteria. That is, the fault which take least time to recover should be listed first. It should be at a number 1 in the list of the faults. And similarly, the fault that requires a larger time, more time is being required for their rectification, should be listed at the last. Intermediate fault should be displayed accordingly only. Those should have a lesser time for the repairing, or we can say that for the recurrence should be listed above, and those faults which takes more time should be displayed afterwards. After that, faults which is having a lesser time. So this is how the listing of all the faults should be done. Proper list is being prepared right now, and we have arranged it in a proper manner so that the fault which is being cured easily with lesser time will be at the first, and the fault which is require more time will be at the last. And next thing that is required is to decide to reduce the loss occurring by the sparing the machine without fail. The loss that is being causing because of the sparing of the machine should be taken into the consideration. We need to carry out all the repairing work that is being required to be done. Repairing work should be carried out. At least those work which require lesser time for the repairing should be listed first. Because of this, we can easily repair many of the faults, and by this only the rectification can be occurred. So this is some activities, or we can say that these are some factors that are being associated in the decision tree. Moving towards the further discussion of these factors, there are also other factors. Next is, we need to represent all the faults and reasons in a block diagram. Means, in a decision tree diagram, we have to list the faults and the reasons in a block. It can be either a rectangular block, or we can say that it can be a square block, but it should be represented in a blocks. And in this diagram, with the block diagram, all the reasons should be shown and division should be into the branches, one for each other. In this diagram, each reasons should be shown and divide each of them into the branches, one for each other. If the reason is being found responsible, then it is okay. And if the reason that is being found not okay, or we can say that not responsible, then we should move towards the next reason. And accordingly, we can trace a fault in the machine. By this way, decision tree diagram is helpful in finding the faults. My small faults can be also easily found with the help of the decision tree diagram. Further discussing the procedure for the preparation of the tree. Only two methods are there. Mainly the first is assumptions are being made which are naturally controlled. Means we have to assume certain assumptions previously. That is being not under the control of the person who is working at a place, nor under any kind of another management. It will work naturally and accordingly it will be taking place. The next method that is there is the decision controlled by the mankind. Here the assumptions are being made by the personnel that is working in a factory. All the decisions will be under his control. He will be responsible for the output, and all the outputs, or we can say all the workings, will be under his control and the desired output can be found. So these are the two methods how we can get a tree, a decision tree, and accordingly we can find the fault. Now let's have further discussion on the activities that are involved in the decision tree diagram. So the first activity is decisions are enveloped in square or rectangle. Means all the decisions that we are concluding based on the faults, based on the reasons, should be represented in a block diagram, particularly square or a rectangle. The fault will be the trunk and they will be represented into the branches. In a decision tree diagram, the faults are the branches. The more the number of the faults will be there, the more will be the branches. So this is how the faults and the branches are being corresponding to each other. And in this way, the faults and the branches are being interconnected. It is necessary to show all the branches, and just showing the branches will not be enough. It should be arranged in a proper order. Either it should be arranged in an ascending order or in a descending order. So this is how the arrangement of the branches should be done. The reason that takes the least time should be listed the first, and those reasons that takes more time should be represented below, and the maximum time taken by the reason should be at the last. This is how the arrangement should be done of the reasons, and whatever the reasons it is found for a machine to get a fault should be represented into the diagram. All the genuine reasons should be included into the decision tree diagram, and accordingly we need to arrange it. How? We have seen in the previous steps. Moving towards a further discussion, the number of the branches in the tree will be equal to the total number of reasons. Previous slide also I have discussed this, that more the branches, more with the number of faults, more will be the reason it will be required. The number of the trees should be finalized with utmost care. Before finalizing the tree, we should take all the considerations, all the decisions, all the reasons into the consideration. And after that only, we need to finalize the tree. All the reasons that are involved in the decision tree diagram should be the precise reason. Because of that only the fault should be taking place. And that what we have discussed in previous session also, that whatever the reasons or whatever the faults that we are taking into the consideration of the decision tree diagram should be genuine reasons. After that only we can find out the particular fault because of which the problem has taken place. Now the reason that is causing the fault should be termed as not okay. And if the reason, if it is found that it is not causing the fault, or we can say that if the reason that is not causing the fault should be termed as okay. Further discussing this okay and not okay term. So whenever we found the okay, we should write remove the fault in that description. And if we found not okay, then we should go to the next. So this is how a decision tree diagram is being prepared. All the faults are being taken into the consideration. All the faults are arranged in a proper sequence in an either ascending or descending order. We need to make those reasons which take lesser time at the first and those that is taken more time or that requires more time for the rectification should be at the last. In this way we need to arrange each and every faults, each and every reason should be arranged in this way, and accordingly the decision should be taken. So this is how we can get to the final causes of the fault in a decision tree diagram. So here we are ending the session. Thank you for attending this session. So here we are ending our session. Hope you have liked the session. We have discussed each and every topic in brief and also in detail. We have discussed each and every topic's practical application also. So thank you for attending the session, and if you have any kind of a doubt, if you have any kind of a query, then you can send me your doubts and queries in mail. My mail is in my YouTube channel. Do check into my YouTube channel, like it, share it, and again thank you for attending this session. See you in the next session. Thank you.